Hello, Mr. Solis here again from Advanced Quantitative Reasoning. You're probably wondering what we're doing with this, and this particular activity is called a cool tool. And yeah, you might laugh a little bit, but you know, it's a very, very interesting little piece of equipment that we're going to be using inside of our class. So we still have this Josephine, one of Josephine's Vanessa's clients, who wants to retire with $1 million. So this is just a little bit on the of what we have done already, but we're going to be using another tool, a new tool. So I've already identified certain things. The future value needs to be 1 million. Time is still 50 years. Annual interest rate that we found was 5.6 because that's just one that we came up with. And the principal is unknown still. And we have one right here. Now, instead of just working with that, we're going to transfer it to this one. And you're probably wondering, okay, well, we have N, big N. We have I. We have present value, payment, future value, and then we have these two, which would stand for little n. And I'm going to go ahead and go over that just in a few seconds. But you can read all this, and it'll tell you exactly what these all are. But it's really important that you see this. Now, as for big N, that's a little bit different from what little n's been. And what big N is going to be equal to is time times little n. Remember that little n was the compounding. And when we compounded something, that means that we cut up the year into a different period. So we're cutting up 1 year. So this basically represents what periods per year. And so what n really represents is the total number of periods for the entire time. So to get that, we take our time, which happens to be 50. Our annual, this whole project is all about annual interest rate. So this is going to be 1, since it's annual, compounded annually. Now, that also leads into this part right here. These two actually are n. Since this right here is 1, that means when we come over here, it's going to be just 1 and 1. That's our compounding. And it's there for a reason. I don't quite know, right? But you know what? That's the way it works. Now also, since we've already done this, where we have 50 times 1, all I'm going to do is just put in exactly what we have. 50 times 1. And you'll understand what we're doing later. Annual interest rate, we're going to write this as a percentage, 5.6%. And this is interesting that I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, you do not need to put this into a decimal when we're using the calculator. And you'll see what I mean in just a few seconds. Principal or present value, which is our beginning value, is our unknown. So we're going to be getting that. We don't know what this is, so we're going to find it. Payments, for now, are 0. And this is always for anything like this. If we're not putting in payments, that means that we're putting in 0. And future value is $1 million. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this for the benefit of my students. This is what I'm going to write. This only refers to PV, payments, and to FV. If you have an investment, this investment, these numbers have certain signs. The principal, or the PV, is going to be a negative number. Now, that's with investment. Now, this is because this is money that we're taking out of our own pockets. We're taking the money out of our pocket, and we're giving it to the bank. When we give it to the bank, they have the money, but it's a deficit on our part for that time period. It's money we don't have access to. Now, payments, since we're also taking that also out of our pockets, those are also going to be negative. So if we had a payment right here, that would be a negative number. And when we have our investments, after we're done, we're going to have a positive number because we're going to take this amount out of the bank and we're going to put it in our own pockets. And that means that we're going to take that money, keep it for our own. So that's basically what we're talking about here. Those are the only three that are affected by this. If we get negative numbers here, I don't know. I need to go ahead and check, but sometimes we do get negative numbers there. But for the most part, we're going to get nothing but positive numbers. All right, so let's go ahead and use this. I'm going to go ahead and use this on our TVM calculator. So here's our calculator. It's the usual one that you've been using inside of class. I'm going to turn it on, of course. And I'm going to find this button right here. That button is apps. We're going to use the apps in this time. So I pushed it, and then we have finance. And what section are we in right now? Finance. So we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to use the TVM solver, the first option. So we're going to hit enter in that. And we have a window. It has N, big N, I in percent, PV, payment, FV, and then we have these two. Doesn't that look familiar? I think that looks a little bit familiar, especially when we have this. So basically we have a table where we can go ahead and put in all this information. We're just using that as a little bit of help. So for the first one, I have 50 times 1. I'm going to type this in verbatim. 50 times 1. Enter. And it automatically do the mathematics right there. It'll take 50 and multiply it by 1. And then right here for percentage, like I said, we leave it in percent. We don't put this into a decimal. So it's 5.6. PV is our unknown. We just leave it unknown for now. Don't touch it. Don't erase it. Just leave it at 0 for now. Payments, 0. So just go. FV, 1 million. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the interesting to note right here for these two, if I change this number, I push enter, they both change the same number. So once you change the first one, the second one will change automatically. But we don't want semi-annual, we want annual, which is only 1. Enter, so they're both 1. Now this is the big step. This is the hardest step of all. And I just want to go ahead and do this, write this down. And remember these keystrokes, alpha, and then enter. So, you're going to hit the alpha button, then you're going to hit the enter button, and that's going to take care of everything. But first, before you do anything, you have to put it on what you want to solve. So we have the N, we have I, we have the payments, we have the future value, and we also have the N. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out what this is going to be. So we're looking for PV. Now, I'm going to hit alpha, just like that, and then I'm going to hit the enter button. So you can watch the magic. And there it is. And of course, PV is negative. It automatically does it for us. So I'm going to enter this in right here. So we found out what X is equal to, which is $65,584.93. That's what we need to go ahead and wait 50 years to get a $1 million in 50 years. I could show you with another one, but I'm thinking I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to try to do this as much as possible. So we have Reggie. He has a future investment. He wants to find the future investment of $6,000 that earns 6.25. So he has 6.25 here. Compounded quarterly, so that's little n. So our little n is equal to 4, and our time is equal to 35. So I'm going to write that to the side first. So this is 4 times 35. I am not doing anything else. I'm not going to go ahead and put this in the calculator first. Then I have the principal. That's what we're trying to find. Oh, wait a minute. He wants to find the future value of an investment. So that's a little bit different. So this time, we're given the present value. So this is PV. So remember, this is now positive. Or actually, no, negative. So this is 6,000 right here. That's a negative 6,000 because remember, these are investments. Investments have negative because you're taking it out of your pocket. No payment, that's still 0. FV, we're going to be looking for a future value. And compounded quarterly, there's our 4s. So those both are 4s. So now I'm going to just type in everything. 4 times 35, just like that, and it'll automatically do the math for me. 6.25%. Present value is negative 6,000, just like that. I'm going to clear FV and just leave that at 0 for now. I'm going to put 4 for this, and there we go. Now I'm going to find out what the future value is. So alpha, enter. So that gives us $52,580.51. So you can see how that works. This is really easy stuff. Wants to have. Now this is the words have and find the future value. Those are the two parts that we're going to be looking at. So we have 10 years. So 10 times monthly 12, because our n is monthly 12 and the t is equal to 10. Interest rate is 3.6. Principal, we're going to be looking for that. Payment, no payment. Future value, which is 10,000. We want to find out how much we need to go ahead and get that. And since it was monthly, these two are 12. So we're just going to enter that in the calculator. And it's really a fast process. 10 times 12, enter, 3.6. We don't have a PV yet. We will find that. Payment is still 0. This right here is going to be 10,000. 4 zeros. This is 12. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Remember, it's alpha. And then enter while you have the cursor right over here at payment. And that would be negative $6,980.52. So you can see how this all works. So I will see you in class. Take notes on this because I'm not really going to go over this in class. I want you guys to be able to do this on your own. And thank you very, very much.